Have you guys ever purchased fragrances out of curiosity or simply because these fragrances were overhyped? In this video, we'll be talking about 7 fragrances that I will not be repurchasing and I have complete buyer's remorse for. Without further ado, let's get into it. The very first fragrance that we'll be discussing today is one that really hurts me to the core. I was very proud of my purchase. However, the very first time I wore this fragrance out, I was told that I smelled like I was going to a funeral. You heard that right. From that day, I've been haunted ever since by that comment. This fragrance is Opera Grande from Suspiro. This is not a bad fragrance. It is very rich and creamy. It's a beautiful scent profile that I actually appreciate a lot. But once you get that type of comment, it really hurts. And that's why I am done with this. Bye-bye. Before I say anything else, I would like to apologize in advance to all the Vetiver lovers out there because what I am about to say might hurt some feelings. And this is Commodity Vetiver. This fragrance right here smells very earthy, deep, almost smells like roots, like you're actually smelling soil with pencil shavings and a little bit of smoky incense to it. For some reason, I can't wrap my head or my nose around this fragrance. It is a little bit too intense. It's one of those fragrances that is not mass appealing and it's for a real connoisseur of vetiver. I have tried to appreciate it, but for some reason, I really can't get around it. This is bold, it is earthy, and it's rich, but it's not for me. So this next fragrance is one that I jumped on the bandwagon for. To me, it just never hit. And that's because I consider it as too safe. I always end up reaching for something else. And this fragrance is Montblanc Explorer Ultra Blue. Clean, fresh, woody. It definitely checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people for what they'll be looking for in a clean scent. However, I always end up reaching for something like this. Dylan Blue for me is a much better fragrance because it has some added sweetness and you get some incense smokiness, which just really gives this fragrance a lot of weight. In terms of projection and longevity, I think this is also super fantastic. Every single time I want to give it a chance and this is right next to it, this has no chance at all. I will not be repurchasing this fragrance. Up next on my buyer's remorse list is Mugler A Men. And this one for me is a fragrance that I really wanted to learn more about, so I got this fragrance. This ended up being not such a great buy for me. On my skin, it's a little bit too loud and sweet. With this, you have caramel, vanilla, honey, and tonka bean, which merges with that patchouli, which is already very wet, feels very intense on my skin. The only time I can picture myself wearing this fragrance is in the winter. Usually when I think of the winter fragrances that I want to wear, I have things like Parfums de Marly Haultain on my list, Bulgari's Onek, Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir, and quite a few other fragrances that I will reach for before I even think about this. Not bad, just a little bit too much for me. Up next, we have Bespoke from Joseph Abboud. This is a very one-dimensional type of winter scent that really doesn't go past that initial blast that you get from the fragrance. It's missing some very key elements because the story in this never really unfolds. I would have really liked to see a little bit more development to this. If I were to reconstruct this fragrance, I think up top I would have added some citruses. In the mid of the fragrance, I would have added some fruits. And in the base, I would have had some tonka bean, patchouli, and oud. Right now, it's just a little too safe. And it's unfortunate because I think the idea here was really good. So for this next one right here, this is Elvis Presley Forever. This is a very fresh aromatic blue fragrance The only downside to this fragrance is that I already own something that I prefer a little bit more than this. And that fragrance is Versace Hawas. It is fresher, it is louder, projects more, has more mass appeal, compliments for days. I mean, if I were to choose between this or this, it's pretty simple. I'm picking this every single time. This is so versatile. You could wear it to the office, you could wear it to the club, you could wear it out on dates, you could wear it to the gym. The performance is very, very good. This has excellent projection as well. And I think in terms of performance, this outdoes this one every single time. And as you guys can see, I've used over 50% of my Versace Hawas bottle compared to Forever. And if I were to do it all over again, would I repurchase this fragrance? No. And that's because I already have this. So this last fragrance we'll be talking about is one that I really try to give it a chance, but for some reason, I just cannot get around to liking it. And this is Bentley for Men Intense. And I understand why some people really love this fragrance, because it really gives those grown man vibes. If I spray this, I'm trying to usually wash this off my skin after about an hour. I just don't want to smell like it for an entire day. And that's kind of why my bottle is still full. I would prefer something more wearable, something that develops a little bit more and has a touch of sweetness, like Elysian Parfums, Gentleman's Club. With this fragrance, you have tobacco, cognac, praline, apple, and sandalwood. 100% choose this fragrance over this. And that is one of the reasons why I will not be repurchasing this fragrance, because it's a little bit too thick, too leathery, too heavy, and too mature for my taste. And now I'm about to show you how I get layered. Welcome to the Layered Zone. In this video, since we've been talking about fragrances that I will not repurchase, the ones in this layered zone are actually fragrances that I will actually repurchase time and time again. We will be layering Prada L'Homme Intense and Prada Black. These two fragrances smell fantastic, and that is primarily because the notes in both of the fragrances complement each other very well. With this, you get a sweet, powdery, musky fragrance which pairs very beautifully with a sweet, powdery iris which is grounded to its base by leather and sandalwood. I would highly recommend you give these two a try, because these fragrances are actually worth repurchasing. And those are all the 7 fragrances in my collection that I will not be repurchasing. If you enjoy more fragrance reviews like this, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and also hit that bell notification button. Let me know in the comments which fragrances in your collection you will not be repurchasing. Until next time, my fellow novelists, remember, fragrance is beautiful stuff. Peace.